capture this and put it on your demo reel. But you'll notice if you want to actually use the play and editor button, there's a lot of things that you have to do in order to get that to work. So right now, if I just try to click play and editor, or another name for that is pie, you'll notice first thing is wrong, I don't have a player start. So in order to add a player start, you can click on here, then right click, add actor, add player start. And we'll press G again so we can see our icons. And we'll rotate this player start so it's looking at the character, and then we'll move it out a little bit. But another problem is if we try to play this, we'll immediately start falling through the world. So one quick thing we can do is we can add a blocking volume so we can be standing on it whenever we start playing the level. So over here on the right, we'll go into the top view, and we just need to build a blocking volume. So to do that, we'll click the cube, which is our builder brush, and it'll pop it to whatever we have selected. So we'll select the character and then click the cube. Now we'll select the cube and we'll right click the cube so we can change its size. So we'll change this to something pretty big like 2048 by 2048, and we'll make the thickness pretty thin like 16, and we'll hit build. And we'll also need to move this up so we can get a good angle on the character. So we'll move it up to about his waist. We also need to move the player start up to make sure it's not underneath it. Now this red box is basically just a builder brush. It doesn't actually do anything. So to get the blocking volume, we'll right click this volume cube and we'll click blocking volume. It's off the screen here at the top, but it's the top option. And now we can just move this out of the way. So now if we click play in editor, you'll notice a couple things. One, he's not rotating, and two, there's a serious redraw problem on the background. And the reason it does that is because they put in some optimization a while back to not redraw anything that goes against the background. So to fix the first problem, we'll go back into Kismet, and to make sure this plays, we just need to add a new event, which is called level loaded invisible. Now if we plug that into play, it should rotate. And it rotates fine. Now also real quick, if we want to get rid of that overdraw problem, is we will put this back into place and we'll drag this down to the bottom, but this time instead of making a blocking volume, we'll make a BSP brush. And to do that, we'll just hit CGS add, and we'll move the builder brush up top, and we'll click CGS add again. Now we'll rotate the brush 90 degrees, and when you're rotating things 90 degrees, it's good to change your snaps, which is these buttons down here. And it goes off the screen, but basically you select this and then you choose 90 degrees. Now we'll move this over to the side. Then hit CGS add. Now we'll do one more. So that looks a lot better, but you'll notice that there's a lighting needs to be rebuilt. You'll notice he only loops once, and there's the Unreal watermark on the top. And real quick, we'll go into matinee, and we just want to make sure B looping is checked so it'll continue to rotate. So in this case, I'll just hit build all. And now if we go into Pi, you can see everything looks pretty good. Now, if you want to get rid of that watermark, you can press tab to bring up the console command, and we'll type in toggle HUD. And also you may want to make this bigger. And if you want to change the resolution, you can bring up the console again and type in set res and then the resolution you want. And you'll also notice the lights affecting the BSP. So to fix that, you can select a BSP surface and then right click and say select all surfaces, and then hit F5 to bring up the properties. And then we just want to uncheck accept lights. And just build again. One last cool effect we could do is if we had the light casting shadows. And to do that, you just double click the light to bring up its properties. And then we just want to check cast dynamic shadows. And when you change a setting like that on the light, you have to rebake the lights. And another way to make sure that light doesn't affect the BSP is we can turn off the lighting channels. Or also in the light, you can double click it to bring up its light properties and go into the lighting channels and uncheck BSP. There's a lot of different ways to do the same thing in Unreal Editor. So if you go back into the console and press up, you can get the last used commands. And another thing you can do if you want to get a better angle is you can go to console command and type in ghost. Now you can see you can zoom to a better angle and you're not restricted to that blocking volume. So that's a quick way to get a good turntable animation in Unreal for your portfolio.